The cold tonight sinks deeper into my bones than any winter I endured back when I was framing houses across Detroit. But it isn't the draft slipping through the cracked window that chills me. It's the hollow ache of 3 days without a proper meal. My stomach folded in on itself like an abandoned room, my hands trembling so violently, I spill half the last glass of water I was saving. Hands that once built 200 homes now barely steady enough to lift a spoon, and every first of the month, it's the same ritual. Social Security hits at midnight and Oliver appears at dawn. Not for a hug or a "how are you, Dad," but to strip me down to nothing. My heating money, my groceries, my dignity, all funneled straight into whatever pit his addictions have dug, leaving me to scrape by on a can of beans and half a box of crackers he rations out, as though I'm a stray mutt who should be grateful for scraps. I soak the beans anyway, muttering, "Make do, Arthur," through teeth clenched against the joint pain that has become my shadow these years, when suddenly the doorbell rings and my heart leaps because only one person in my life rings with light. Harry, my 12-year-old whirlwind of joy, bursts in shouting, "Grandpa!" his backpack swinging like a carnival ride behind him, and right behind him, like a stain on a clean shirt, stands Oliver wearing a silk shirt. I know my check paid for, his eyes flat and dead as poured concrete. He dismisses Harry to the yard and leans in close enough for me to smell the stale whiskey under his breath, saying, "Dad, I need all of it. New business deal." And when I whisper, "I'll starve, son," he laughs, a cold, metallic little sound. Old folks don't need much, slamming the table so hard the mug shatters and Harry peeks in terrified, but Oliver switches masks instantly, acting sweet in front of the boy, saying we need to go to the bank, grabbing my arm with a bruising grip, forcing me to withdraw every penny, the teller giving me a look, but Oliver's fingers digging into me until I choke out everything, and he snatches the envelope, silence thick on the way back home, until Harry hugs me tight before they leave. And then the house collapses into emptiness, shards of that mug scattered like little reminders of every decision I failed to make. And as I sweep them slowly, my neighbor Margaret opens her door and catches me trembling, and shame burns hotter than any furnace I ever installed. But she ushers me in for coffee, and I spill everything, watching her expression harden as she says the words I've been avoiding.
"Arthur, this is elder abuse. It's a crime." And before I know it, she's calling her niece Sophie from Adult Protective Services, who promises to visit tomorrow. And while walking home, I notice a police officer questioning Mr.
Whitmore about a phone scam. And when the officer, Lieutenant Collins, locks eyes with me, something inside me cracks. And the next morning, he's at my door saying quietly, "I see victims every day, but you, sir, deserve better." And I cave completely, telling him about the bank, the threats, and how Harry's school lunches have kept me going, but halfway through the conversation Oliver barges in, freezing at the sight of the badge, pulling Harry to the bedroom before hissing in my ear, "If you say one word, you'll never see that kid again." And after he storms out, I'm left shaking until Harry emerges shyly saying, "Grandpa, I saved you lunch," then casually asks, "Why does Dad call you useless on the phone?" And the floor shifts under me. So I lie that adults say stupid things under stress. But Harry shakes his head and whispers, "Grandpa, that's not stress, that's injustice." And before I can respond, the doorbell rings. Sophie arrives. But Harry blurts out, "Dad takes everything from Grandpa." And as if summoned by guilt or rage, Oliver bursts back into the house, having forgotten his keys, hears Harry's voice, and drags him away while shoving me into the wall, snarling, "This is your fault, old man." Unaware, Harry had left his little voice recorder running on the table, capturing every threat, every word, Sophie dialing Collins as sirens scream closer. And when the lieutenant listens to the recording, his jaw tightens and he whispers, "This is evidence, Arthur." And that night he tells me he has a plan, one that requires my courage. I call him at 5 a.m. when Oliver drunkenly breaks in demanding the house deed, slurring about debts and dangerous people who will kill him if he doesn't pay, grabbing me by the throat and smashing me into the drywall until I gasp that the deed is in a bank safe box, and he believes me and staggers away, leaving a man-sized hole in the wall. And Collins arrives minutes later with Sophie, photographing bruises, filing the formal abuse complaint, initiating emergency custody for Harry, who tells his school in a calm voice that Dad lost his job and got angrier, then whispers to the staff that he found a suitcase under Oliver's bed containing white powder, pills, cash, a gun. The world tilting off its axis as Collins locates Oliver's safe house just as masked intruders kick the door in, guns drawn, screaming, "Where's Oliver?" before police swarm in. But Oliver flees to a second hideout, leaving his car abandoned near the river with a note on the windshield that simply reads, "Belle Isle 6 p.m. alone, life or death." And Collins wires me with a transmitter as I limp across the cold grass of Belle Isle, finding Oliver beaten, desperate, whispering, "Dad, forgive me, I lost a shipment. They'll kill Harry." And before I can react, a group of dealers appear from the trees, and a chase erupts into an old maintenance shed, where Oliver throws himself in front of me as a bullet tears through my shoulder, and I shove him down as another shot cracks through the boards, before everything fades into a red haze, waking in the hospital with Oliver cuffed to the bed beside me, and Collins telling me the dealers were arrested, and Oliver breaks completely, sobbing that he started selling after losing his job, debts piling until shame became the only language he spoke. And Harry sits beside me, whispering, "Grandpa, you saved Dad." And Oliver croaks, "I'm done running." And the court orders rehab, supervised visits, and for the first time in years the house is legally mine again. The deed safe under the floorboard where I hid it decades ago. And as I finally eat my first hot meal in weeks with Harry moving in and the front room repaired, I tell my story to the camera that Collins set up for awareness training, whispering the truth that nearly killed me. Silence almost destroyed 3 generations of us, so speak, even if your voice shakes.